So, last car show of the season. Let's get her under. Renaud's Mill Car Show. Let's clean up the old Trans Am. Let's give this guy a much needed wash. There, that's not too bad of a Craigslist photo. All right, so we got Mike. Mike, where are we going, buddy?
We're going to the Renaud's Mills Car Show, baby.
I know. We're going to Renaud's Mill Car Show. I just wanted to bring up Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, if you're watching this, check this out. Happened to your farmer's wraps. Come on, guys. These little suckers used to be, you know, bigger than your hand. Now I can put them in the palm of my hand. My hand hasn't got any bigger. Come on.
We want the old farmer's wrap back. Bring back the old farmer's wrap, guys.
Yeah, look at this. Look at the square. Come on. Come on. Bring back 2 for $5. That was great.
We want to see you, Timmy's. Bring it back.
Found a little convoy to drive up with. Yes, sir. We got an old Bronco. Don't know what the other thing is, but we'll head on up with them. So we're at the Renaud's Mill Car Show. Brought Dad's old car. Let's see what's here and see what's cool. Completely forgot, but welcome to Ohio Stable Garage.
J'ai donné une chute pont. Façon, il y a un trou, elle fait du carburéteur. Donc ça shoot la gaz contre le bloc. Là, tu allumes ta clé. Là, il ouvre un crank. Stop. But si tu essayes de.
And lever brakes on her, yes, sir. Like this thing. Mike, what do you think about this fella?
This is pretty cool.
Old fire truck.
What is effective as putting fire?
Yes, sir. The old copper lead red. Crank handle. Mike, does that crank your handle?
Does it ever?
Wooden wheels. One greased hub. No brakes. Yeah, no brakes.
I can't believe this thing's over 100 years old and the headlights crack. Man, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. 1916 Ford Model T. Don't worry, she has a 1937 Ford, or 1937 motor vehicle inspection.
It also has a 2025 motor vehicle inspection, just in case.
Does it? Look at that. So, 1916 Model T. But from what I can see, you got wooden wheels, old wheel bearings. Come take a look at this. This is pretty cool, just on the bottom side. Right here, you got your lever brakes going all the way to the back drums on this fella. And they're like an oil-soaked wooden shoe on these very, very different brake technology. Now, if you come up to the cockpit, I believe right there is your timing control off of that. That's your e-brake, fuel, clutch, pedal. One of those, I believe, is something else, but I can't even remember. And it's just a really neat rigging at the end of the day. So I actually saw this guy start this earlier, and that crank is a functional crank. It's he doesn't have a starter on this thing, or at least it's not hooked up. That's how he's starting this thing. So you got to watch out that you don't lose your teeth on that fella when it kicks back. But really neat to find these old things. You don't see them that often, that's for sure. Let's keep on looking. I'm going to call it a chicken just for YouTube's sake. Right, Mike? That's a chicken, eh?
Yeah, that's a nice looking chicken right there.
Yes, sir. But you got an old square body Chevy. Let's take a look. Got the smoked out taillights. Step side.
I like the green.
It is a nice green. I like the green and the black. What do you think about that, Michaela?
I like the green.
You like the green and the black? Fun fact, this is actually the color, green with black fenders, that my mom wants to paint that 1950s Ford that we have. Kent Holmes color scheme. J.D. Irvin would be proud. Me and Mike were looking at this old Ford van, and he was saying, oh, I can fit everyone in there. I'm like, yeah, no duh. It's a super van. I always find these are like I always call these vans the Mighty Mouse because they kind of look like a mouse, especially with the mirrors.
It's true.
What do you think about old Jerry there, Mike?
The engine looks very inaccessible.
Yeah, just a little bit. So the engine is in that dog box right there. But she's an auto magical. Very nice though. Very nice van. Yes, sir. Got a nice little intake for the cabin at the top. I like it. Mike, what do you think about this whole thing? Do you think Shaggy and Scooby-Doo would be inside this thing? Ruh-roh. Got a Pontiac Le Mans Sport Coupe. 70 some. Yes, sir. Quite like her. 1973 to be exact. But you got red on red interior. Yes, sir. I quite like that 100%. This thing looks mean. I like the hood. I like the color. I like the general shape. I like everything about this car. And I like the girl. I found a spicy Dorito. But, you know, the Dorito spice is gone. And now there's an LS spice inside.
It's true.
5.3 LS. I think likely a T56 or something like that. The back, not sure. But it's a premium RX-7 spice to that a little bit. 1988 RX-7. Mike, what do you think about this car there, buddy? This premium RX-7 spice.
And he's got speakers on top of his shock mount, so it's cool.
Does he really? Enhance. Oh yeah, I see him. Very nice. Very cool. Question period. This LS powered 3rd gen RX-7 or 2nd gen RX-7?
2nd gen?
2nd gen RX-7 versus your 302 powered 1st gen RX-7. Which one?
Well, legend has it that this guy runs 10s on the track, so I think I would a little out of my class.
Yeah, but you run 9s on jack stands, so who's really winning?
That's right.
What do you think about this premium stabbing cabin? This is a Yoder. Yes, sir. The Seabreeze.
I like how that V6 is hauling all that weight.
Are you sure it's not a 22RE in that? Inline 4?
Man, I would hope not.
1993 Toyota Seabreeze. I'm very curious to know if it's a 22RE or the Toyota V6 in it.
I think it's got the V6 badge, but...
That's true. We're going to assume V6 to haul this big old stabbing cabin around. Yes, sir. Got a pretty nice looking Mercury Cougar. Mike, what do you think about an old Cougar there, buddy?
Man, like the toaster oven and front grill there. Looks good.
Hey, these open up on both sides. You should have 4 lights in there. It is. I like it. I like it. For information, it's a 1968 Mercury Cougar. In fact, these are not just Mustangs. The wheelbase is actually a little bit longer on the Mercury Cougar end than it is on the Mustang end. I'm not sure the specifics, but they wanted a more plush, streamlined ride than the normal pony car Mustang. Very cool, though. More luxurious little one. Twin carb Corvair, not the quad carb Corvair. What do you think about that, Mike?
That's pretty nifty.
Pretty nifty indeed. It's missing an engine, Mike.
Must be one of those Audi-Tesla combinations.
Audi-Tesla combination. I don't even know where the horsepower comes from. But for everyone that wants to know, 1965, a Corvair.
There's a brake master cylinder in there.
Yes, sir. Well, it's harder to reroute the brake master cylinder all the way to the back than to just put it inside the frunk.
That's true.
Here's a fun little bit of trivia. Mike, what do you think? Do you think that they were calling these frunks? Or do you think that's a coin termed when Tesla came around?
That's a good question, buddy.
I'm a sucker for old 1971 Ford. Yes, sir. Look at that.
Nice.
360 big block. Looks to be pretty close to the original paint anyway. Might be kind of sun faded. I like that he painted his wood on his bed. I just like, you know, most of these trucks in general. I find they're sweet. You know what? She's set up for working because she has the trailer hitch still on her. Got the ball protector too. You got to watch out. You don't want to be in a wrong part of town with all the good rubber on her, eh, Mike? I like it. So here we got a nice little Scottsdale. Pretty much the full chrome package on her. No real dents to be seen. And she's four-wheel drive on the floor. Automatic. Huge Chevy guy, but that's a nice truck. And you know what? She has those authentic Bridgestone mud duelers on her. That's what drove me in right there. Has them automagical hubs on her too, but those mud duelers look some good on this truck. Yep, I like it. Hey, Mike, isn't this the car? I'm not a huge Plymouth Barracuda guy, but I'm pretty sure last show It was a guy that came up and said this was a factory option.
That's what I heard as well, man.
Yeah, you got the interior that matches the roof, all vinyl, and apparently it was a rare factory option to have this on it. Let me go get the plate for a second. 1969 Plymouth Barracuda is what we're dealing with. Green. But yeah, that's the topper for it. Pretty cool though. Kind of looks like gator skin. Got an old school tunnel ram on this old rat rod. Dodge sedan apparently. Don't know how truthful that is. But old YN tunnel ram to a single barrel, was that an Edelbrock 1401 or 1406? It would be a 1406 because of the electronic choke. Pretty neat shifter. Pretty tall too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And he's sitting right on the floor. No, rat rods are cool. I quite like them. The Rat's Nest is what it's called. We actually looked at this car, what about a year ago on the channel. You guys want to see that in-depth one? But either way, I quite like her. This guy has a pretty radical 350 Chevy. He's got the old hyper coil at the back, and then a whole bunch of, it looks like single barrels, triple single barrel carburetors on the top intake. That's a pretty radical setup, eh, Mike?
That's pretty nifty.
Lots of chrome, too. 1966 Bel Air is what she is. Looks pretty slick. Not sure if it's a factory option either. Hard to say. The rat rod, but down here, that caught my eye. You know, like a crow to something shiny. Chrome oil pan. What? She's got some big old jumbo willy bobs on the back, too. And what Mike said, as long as there's a rat, it's a rat rod. Moth to a flame. Here I am. Ford F-150 XL. Really good shape. Automatic. Likely a 300i6 or a 302, being that it's an F-150. Yes, sir. Undercoated quite a lot, as you can see. I like it. Dedicated to his grandfather. 2013. Nice old truck, though. I like it. Oh, got an old International. I believe it's KB1, but 1945 International. But what I wanted to show you guys is this window. See, push comes to shove, we'll build a window frame for our L112 or L120, and we'll make it a two-piece because these are flat glass. Ours is a curved. Won't be hard to retrofit something like that into the truck. Mike found a go-kart for you. Mike, do you want to go sit beside that? We got to use them as reference, you know. You want to go sit beside it too?
Kind of blow it out of proportion. It's like having the Mini.
It's pretty bad when Michaela is as tall as the Mini. Yeah, Mike, that's the driving position for the Mini. Yes, sir. It's basically a go-kart. 1993 Mini Cooper. El Manuel. Yes, sir. But it seats technically 5.
Yeah, that's 5 small homies.
That's 5 little fellas in there. You got a little tiny unipipe. Yes, sir. Got a pretty nice Trans Am here, not gonna lie. That takes you to Tokyo Drift right there. Is it a 71, 72? 71 Monte Carlo. Yes, sir. These cars always look quite nice. Poor man's Chevelle, basically. Yes, sir. I've always liked these cars. 100%. I'm a sucker for these little vibrant little tiny cars. You got a Volkswagen Carmen? Zoom in on that. Enhance. Carmen. I like it. What year is this? 1974 Carmen Ghia. Looking pretty sporty, really, for the size that it is and everything. But I don't think there's a lot of legroom in this fella. Nope. Not, maybe for you. Not for me. Mike, we're curious. Is this a tachometer or is that a clock? Not entirely sure. It goes 1 to 12. Anyway, as long as it's tea time, that's all you need. This thing's redneck. I quite like this. Got the big old jumbo willy bobs. They're basically turf tires for tractors. It almost looks like. That's your fuel tank, or that's your fuel tank, or that, I don't know. One of the two. It's hard to say. Frank's got a sword. And not a lot of room in this fella, but it fits the bill. That's definitely different. I like it though. 350 Chevy powered. Looks like an S10 frame. Hard to say. Nice F-150 here. You know, run of the mill. Looks pretty good. Deers be gone, basically, with the quad deer whistle. Mike, do you think those deers are going to hear that whistle?
She's a screamer for sure.
It's basically a raid siren going down the road. Yes, sir. Besides that, the truck is a pretty clean unit, really. S10 squad, all lowered. Yes, sir. This one's LS2 powered. Likely motors around pretty darn sweet. Automagical. What do you think about that, Mike?
That's pretty neat.
One on bags. This one's pretty sweet. Custom seat, custom upholstery, custom interior. Pretty much whole 9 yards on that S10. Yes, sir. Be LS powered. On this last little S10. Yes, sir. El Manuel. I quite like that. That's a nice one. Look at the Bronchus. Look at that. Are you looking at it? I'm looking at it. Got the big old jumbo willy bobs on it. What are those, 35s? Let's take a peek. Zoom in, enhance. Yep, 35, 12 and a half, 15s. And she's a tall unit. Automatic, 4-wheel drive on the floor. She even gets used a little bit. I like it. Look at the Shelby 429. Yes, sir. Might be a kit car. Likely a kit car. But looks pretty darn slick. The cars you always kind of want, but you never really get. This guy's living the dream, eh, Mike?
This is the life, man.
It's a little bit of engine A there, Mike. So just a touch.
Just slightly modified.
If you're wondering, we'll back up. She's a Mustang, 1965, but the entire thing, and I mean the entire thing, is carbon fiber and chrome. Yeah, roof, trunk, panels, literally everything. And she's a nice unit. She's a resto mod, but she's awful slick. Yes, sir. Look at that little tiny fella. What do you think about that, Mike?
The pistons probably are like thumb size.
Little tiny thumb pistons. Little tiny super pistons. It's a small little fella. Look at that thing. 1957 Nash Metropolitan, like the ice cream, eh, Mike?
If you ain't whipping the Nash, then what is you doing?
I think that car right there, no joke, if I put a measuring tape out, I bet when we finish the mega cab, this thing could fit in the bed. What do you think about that?
Man, this could fit in the mega cab.
In the mega cab.
This is the mega cab.
Look at this little golf cart. Fuel injection. Might be a little bit more Tesla in there than fuel injection, though. Look at the spare tire on this fella. That took a little bit of time to paint in there. Naked General Lee hanging out. No stickers, no nothing. No flag, no numbers. 1969 General Lee. Or 1969 Dodge Charger. Yes, sir. Very orange. Tangerine. So, been walking through. Saw this really cute 1972 F-250. Hood's closed, all that stuff. Can't find the owner. But I'll walk you through it the best I can. From what I can see, it's a 302. C6 automatic truck. But she's pretty, done up. She's a Ranger XLT model. If you come take a look at the interior there, it's a nice brown and tan. You got the cool tow mirrors. You got all the HVAC controls there on the bottom. A nice little tack. But come take a look at this long bed here. You got the red, white, and instead of blue, it's a chrome. But XLT model. Two-tone. It's just a nice old country truck at the end of the day. Really like the chrome bumper on it. Really nice chrome package all the way through. It's just a nice old 250. Really. Got the old Firestones on her. Yes, sir. What do you think about that?
Pretty.
Even though it's a Ranger XLT, still has the little camper special hutch inside of it. Pretty nice. But you know what? She's just a nice unit. I'm going to walk away from it, but there you go. Camper special right on her. So that explains the bed. What a sweetheart. I like it. Well, I spotted this big yellow banana as it drove in. Pontiac Chieftain has a really nice aggressive stance on it. Gold topper, yellow bottom. 1952 Pontiac Chieftain, to be exact. But check that out. She's likely a 3-speed or a 4-speed manual. It's just a nice unit. Dahlia is the license plate. But it's just a nice stance. Come take a look at this. Now that to me kind of screams 1940s muscle, kind of that raked look. Overall, I quite like it. It's one of my favorites here. And not to mention the really neat headliner inside it. Yes, sir. Overall, I quite like it. That little fella has a 4BT in it and an MV 4500. So yeah, that's the Renaud's Mill Car Show at the end of the day. Pretty darn slick. Good turnout. Now, we still have the Canadian Tire Car Show to go to later tonight, so fret not. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. We left Renaud's Car Show. Now we're here at the Dieppe Canadian Tire Car Show. So let's go see what they got. All right, so when I was talking about finding a rear-engine sports car, Michaela was insistent on looking at this Volkswagen Bug. It doesn't exactly fit the bill, but we'll go over it anyway. Air-cooled rear engine. I think it's called a V-twin. Not entirely sure. Volkswagen Bug. 4-cylinder. Very, very basic little engine. Well, we'll go around it, take a look at her. It's a 4-speed manual. Nice little tiny wheel. Very compact for these Volkswagen Bugs. And if you look at the very back seat, flip, 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 keep flipping. There you go. Look at that. Apparently this can seat 5. I don't know what world this can seat 5, but apparently it can. And we kind of joked about this with the Corvair, but you know, the front piece where the hood would normally be, if you want to look at that, Tesla coined that as the frunk. I don't think it's a frunk. But either way, they're quite a neat little tiny car. They fit the bill. Nice little commuter. We can get one, you know, 50, 59. That's something I would be interested in. But either way, there's tons more to see. It's got a beautiful F100 XLT. Believe that's going to be like a 75, 76 model. Black, chrome, vinyl seat, automatic. Just a nice old girl. Like an original short bed too. Very nice. Beautiful tailgate on that. It's just a nice truck at the end of the day. You guys ever see a Ford Mustang with Lamborghini doors? I don't think I've ever seen a Mustang with Lamborghini doors before. Nice little dog. Oh, another dog. Nice Audi, Mazda, Tesla, Lamborghini combination right there. Yes, sir. Check out this old Ford. It's LS powered. Looks like a 4.8, just a little tiny LS. But it's in an old Mercury, or I mean an old Ford. Pretty similar trucks at the end of the day. But I think there's not a whole lot Ford left. in this little fella, but let's take a look at it real quick. It's quite nice. So that's the 4.8 that I'm talking about inside there. You got a couple things in there that strikes the eye, catch can, all that stuff. Pretty nice. But we got the nice interior in her. He didn't even have to raise the floor up too much. He just got her to lay down pretty good. Bench seat retained, column retained. Overall, pretty darn slick. But as you can see, the bed is raised quite a lot. So there's something going on underneath. And that something going on underneath seems to be a Crown Vic chassis at the end of the day. Pretty much at the end of the day, all these old trucks seem to go on to Crown Vic chassis. Just the way she goes. Anyway, let's keep walking. Walking around, saw this Trans Am Firebird at the end of the day. It grabbed my eye because the color combination is quite different from what we're usually used to. Go up to it. No, you can be there. You can come right in. But it's a formula, so that's why it looks different at the end of the day. But come on in. We got some plush interior in this fella. Check that out. She's got that plush interior and baby seats, but pretty much standard Firebird Trans Am. But it's a formula car. I'm not sure if they do anything to the 6.6 underneath, but they likely do. You guys know this one. I've always liked this one. You guys know that I like this little fella every time I see him. Flat 4, old ignition. I'm talking old. But it's basically styled as like an old race car. Drum brakes, front and back. Lever drum brakes, front and back. But no, it's a pretty darn slick unit. El Manuel, little itty bitty tiny windshields, just big enough to put your inspection sticker on. But I quite like this thing. See the El Manuel. You got your brake, you got all your stuff, and he drives with goggles, pretty darn slick. Everything about this little fella I like. All the way to the electrical tape on the lights, to the big old grill, to the leaf spring suspension, to the skinny tires. One of my favorite cars to date. We're just going to stop by this car for a second. Super custom hood at the end of the day. I don't think you're going to find another hood just like that one. You guys noticed either, we're kind of entering the van zone. There's vans everywhere. Got a pretty nice F-250. Yes, sir, that's a nice unit. So, I like these old Fords. You guys know that. You should know that at the end of the day. XLT Power Stroke model. I think it's a manual. It's not. Automatic Power Stroke. But either way, pretty nice unit. It would be likely the first generation for the Power Stroke in this fella. I don't believe she's a 97 model, but one thing that's really neat, hard to find, that this truck has, are the aluminum wheels with that little tiny center cap. Those are hard tickets to find over here in the Rust Belt. I can guarantee you 100%. Those are worth a pretty penny on that truck. Let's keep on walking. The old Ford fridge nose, technically, is a Mercury fridge nose at the end of the day. 1957. But, come take a look. You guys are going to like what you see. It's a 4.8 LS with a pretty big turb ski, likely a 35 millimeter on it. Custom engine mounts, custom front frame. There's a couple things going on with this old pickup. So let me bring you guys in. Let's take a quick look at her. She's likely pretty rowdy. She got the ratchet shifter for the automatic inside her. I'm not sure what the Chevy automatic is going to be inside that thing. Gauge cluster, whole bunch of dealy. Floor didn't have to get raised. Bed floor did. There's likely some things going on in the back. No, you know what? I never really paid attention to them without the bumper, but they look some sporty without the bumper on it. Got another one of those Tesla, Mercedes, one of those Lamborghinis. Dodge Viper ACR. Not sure. Boss 427. It's a little bit more, it gravitates the attention a little bit more than the Viper ACR, but the Viper ACR is still pretty darn cool. Let's take a look at it. And, they're just built like a fighter jet at the end of the day. Very, very expensive. I think they're a lot more expensive than your standard Corvette Mustang of the same year. But they just look like they're trying to eat the road. Pretty darn slick. I like that. I don't know if you can hear me off this, but Monte Carlo SS has a little bit of sugar and spice in it. Some of that 6-liter sugar and spice at the end of the day. That is a loud beetle. A very loud beetle. All right, so now the beetle's done. Had to take you guys over there to go see it real quick. It was making a lot of ruckus. But Monte Carlo SS and basically the general theme of everything is LS swap. In this case, it's going to be a 6-liter Vortec inside this fella. Let me bring you guys in. It's done up pretty darn slick. I think you guys are going to like it. 4 headers, 6-liter, ratchet B&M shifter. It's just a nice unit. And she's like a burgundy red. It's a nice car. That looks mean going down the road. And you know, I haven't been able to get in there to that Bronco just yet, but I'm itching to. As soon as a whole bunch of people get out of the way, I'll see if I can get in there and show you guys. Green Bronco has not been lost on me. Trust me on that. All right, so this is a Mazda B2200.
Yes, sir.
Mazda B2200. A little bit of backstory from me. I saw this truck on Marketplace sometime around 2 years ago. Wasn't in running shape. This must be the sharp fellow that bought it.
I did buy it. I got some help putting it together and getting it running over the last year. It's been a bit of a pain, but it's finally going, and still a bit of work in progress, but she's running good.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about it. I know it's a 305, and we were talking before that you have different pistons in it and stuff, but you know the engine way better than I do.
So it's a 1987 truck with a 1987 Chevy 305 HO board, 30 over with 10.5 compression, and we haven't pulled the motor out, but everyone that I've had help me build with it has said it's got to have a light cam in it because it wouldn't be running the way it was without it.
A 305 is usually a limp dog. So, but if you already put 30 over pistons and everything in it, it likely has a little bit of a hot cam inside it. I guarantee. I completely agree with you on that one. So, what else is done to the truck? Lowered, anything like that?
No, it's not lowered at the moment. It's got weight in the back because I have next to no traction.
I saw that. Cinder blocks, tires, everything.
As much as I could get in it because it's always trying to just like spin on me. Nothing good.
Yes, sir.
No, a whole lot's not done to it besides that. It's got Ford Ranger seats in it, which came with it when I bought it, but I changed the headlights, maybe. Nothing too fancy, and the rims were with it when I bought it, but they are aftermarket.
Yes, sir. And they're standard Mazda rims on this?
I have the set, but they weren't on it. I'm pretty sure these are a Ford style, I was told.
Okay.
As far as I know, but I haven't researched it yet.
Yes.
I've been too focused on building it.
Yes, sir. I used to have a buddy. He had a Mazda B2200, and it had FG Cruiser rims on it.
Oh, yes, sir.
They fit. It's like a weird bolt pattern on this, if I can remember correctly. Yeah. But no, I saw the truck a while ago. I always wanted to go up in person to it, and I'm happy that I managed to get a hold of you.
Yeah, no, I've been here the last little bit I can, but besides that, I've been working on it all year. It's been killing me trying to take it out, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Still got a bit of odds and ends to work out, but it's getting there.
Oh yeah, no, she's a slick unit. What's your name, boss?
Jade.
Colt.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. All right, we're gonna keep on walking around and seeing what we can see. Special thanks to Kading for showing off his cool truck. I always wanted to see the 305 in person. Let's keep on walking. So, military Jeep, pretty darn slick. Come take a look. The fuel tank is underneath the driver's seat. Didn't really know that, but 4-wheel drive, lockers, whole deal. World War II, might be Vietnam, but that's the fuel tank right underneath your driver's seat, so don't hit a big bump. You thought the Pinto was bad. Just wait until you hit a bump in this fella. Take a look at this wagoon. Yes, sir. That is a face only a mother could love, but she's awful slick. So I have no idea what I'm looking at, other than it's a Dodge at the end of the day. But come on in so you don't get hit by a car. But let's take a look at this pretty darn slick station wagon. 303 is on the side of her. See if I can see any more identification. But basically, old 60s or 50s Chrysler product. It's pretty darn slick, pretty darn cool, really. Neat gauges, leather seats, leather interior, black on black on black, triple black car with old school Craigers on it. It's just a fine car, fine like wine at the end of the day. And she has a pretty aggressive stance to her. I like it. You guys ever see a Saturn with a little bit of engine rammed in her? We looked at this one at Lake Nationals, but maybe not as up close as we should have. Firewall's been pushed back on her pretty far. She got the electronicals. She's got pretty much every last little bit of her inside that. Racing seats. Look at the big old jumbo willy bobs on this thing. Oh. Whew, that's a lot of tire. There's a little bit of heft in that old car. Yes, sir. So we finally managed to get over to the Bronco, and there's not a lot of crowd around it. But you got an old school worn wench on it. Some big, big tires. I'm thinking 39s. 325 is the metric, but they're tall. Not going to lie. She's an army drab green, olive green. Head height. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. And this is going to take quite a lot of a jump to get into this fella. But she's a Bronco Custom. 4-wheel drive on the floor for whatever that's worth. And she's an automatic truck. I think it was a 302 that I saw inside this thing at the beginning. Dana 44 up front. The Ford 9-inch. She got a pretty nice canvas top on her, too. So I think biggest Bronco of the show goes to that fella. Granted, I think there's only 2 Broncos here, this one and a 60s red one, but I think he's definitely the biggest. Let's keep on walking. You guys ever see a wide-body Corvette with a good history? You did now, but we have the owner here. What's your name?
Deborah Palmer.
Colt.
Right.
So if you don't mind, your Corvette is definitely a unique Corvette amongst all the other cars here, and just unique in general. If you don't mind going over your car, and we talked a little bit before, but there's quite a history to this one too.
Okay, it's a 1980 Corvette. It was built for Gabriel Shocks of Canada as a promotion vehicle. In 1986, it toured all across country with a sister car, and at the end of the year, they gave the 2 cars away. This one went to St. John, New Brunswick, to a dealer that sold Gabriel Shocks. They didn't want it, so the owner had promised the money from the car to his employees. So what he did is he traded it in on a half-ton. The money he was allowed for it, he then gave to his employees. For 4 years, the car went between different dealerships owned by the Gates brothers, and it ended up in 1990 down in Truro, Nova Scotia, which is where we seen it. And when the dealership went bankrupt, we went in and made an offer on it and got it.
Awesome. Awesome one.
Yes.
The word works for the car.
Yes, I got that plate because when we were doing a parade, somebody yelled, "Awesome car!" So that's what I wanted, awesome, but it was already taken, so we dropped the E's and added the 1.
Yep, that's 100%. I agree with that.
As you can see, it's got a high-rise hood. The body kit is by ACI, and it's actually modeled off of what they call the Duntov Corvette, which was built in '79, which was a wide body, but it was a convertible.
Okay.
It has the headlights have been changed, so they don't pop up.
They're solid. They're fixed. They can't move. They're like a normal car now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It has the hood here is up. It has holes in the hood and a scoop, so you're getting fresh air off as it goes in to help with the breathe. The car was originally a 350 automatic. My husband had a 468 4-speed, and I used to say if I had his motor and transmission, I'd have the perfect car.
Yep.
So I kind of outdid him. I got a 502 with a 6-speed.
And you said roughly 500 horsepower or
540. She's
540.
dynoed at 540.
To the wheel. Or to the crank?
To the wheel.
To the wheel. That's awesome.
So you can see here, this is where your body lines normally would go.
Okay.
And that's how much wider she is. She's got the custom white and red interior, with red and blue stripes, because on the outside you got red with white and blue stripes.
I see that.
If you look at the dash, she's my husband gave me for Christmas one year a digital dash.
All the digital. Here, I'll grab that for a sec.
See, it's all digital numbers and everything, and
I see that.
gauges.
And that's not factory for this year.
No, they had the normal analog. But 2 years ago, my husband bought that for me online. I had been looking for it.
Yep.
And then she's got the extra tail light up here. The Gabriel stands for Gabriel Shocks.
Do you know roughly how much wider the wide body kit is on the car compared to a standard
back,
Corvette?
It's about 8 inches.
8 inches.
Wider at the back and about 6 at the front.
Okay.
It would normally only have 4 taillights.
It has the 6.
It has 6.
See, you see that? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They added 2 extra taillights when they did the wide body. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. Didn't want you to trip over.
It's okay.
But that's and we've had the car since April 19th, 1990.
Yeah.
So 33 years.
I was born in 98.
The car's older than you.
Yes, 100%.
But,
100%.
yeah.
So that's your fuel door right here?
That's where you open the door to go to the fuel. No security there, but we do have a locking gate.
Good, fair enough. You need that these days.
Yes, you do. Well, not only that, somebody might decide to dump something.
You never know. Some people get mad when they see a nice car, right?
Yeah. So, again, it's...
And that's a fairly skookum door. That is almost a foot wide.
Yeah. Well, it would normally... The body line is normally right here and goes down. You can see right there. That would be your normal body line.
Yep.
That would be where the normal door was, and that's that much wider.
Okay, so about 3 inches roughly wider than stock on the door panels.
Yep. And the back here, it's a little wider. Your body on this one should go right about there.
Yep. And then, are these standard Corvette rims, or are they specialty?
No,
for the car?
those are they were put on the car as part of it. They're Simmons 3-piece rims.
Okay.
I think they're 10-inch.
Okay.
Wide.
I would say
they're
so.
15-inch rims. And the tires are 295 50/15s.
Big tires.
They're big tires.
Big tires. Big tires.
Well, I mean, if I put a normal size tire in there, that would be way back in here.
Yep, 100%.
So.
I know exactly what you mean. So, to summarize, it's a 502, 540 horsepower.
Yes.
Roughly, yep. And is it a 4-speed manual or 5-speed?
It's a 6.
A 6-speed. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 6-speed out of a newer Vet.
That's awesome. So it's quite the driver at the end of the day.
If you're not playing, you can run it at about 80 miles an hour. You'll get 20 miles per gallon.
That's awesome.
So I don't know what that is in liters per 100.
No idea. I couldn't do the math for you on that one.
Okay, but it's good for that big a motor.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's awesome.
If I had different rear end gears, I could get better, but
then it's less fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't think this can get less fun than what it already is.
No,
even if you took the gears out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're still going to have a smile on your face
well,
every
it's
time
got
you drive
the horsepower. You could change the gears a little and still enjoy it.
That's awesome. So roughly, just ballpark, how many miles do you think you put on the car since you owned it?
Since I owned it? Close to 100,000.
100,000?
It's 100,000 on her?
Since you guys owned it, 100,000? 150 to 160,000. So it's a good driver at the end of the day, too.
Yeah, and it sat in the garage for about 5 years while I was waiting to do the motor and transmission and body job.
That's awesome. It's always nice to see a driver, and you know what stands out with this one? It's a driver that's well looked after.
Yeah.
100%, because normally you see a driver and it's a little bit more ratty around. You guys are taking very good care about your car.
Most people that have these cars do take good care of them, I've noticed.
Fair enough.
She's going to get some mileage in Florida.
Yep. 1971 Gremlin, and no, she's not the Hemi Gremmy, but come on in. Let's take a look at her. Gremlin's AMX stuff, you don't see it. AMC. But you don't see this stuff anywhere, especially now. She's a 4-speed. It's pretty dark, but she's a 4-speed. You got a big tack. You got a whole bunch of stuff that it's just a nice unit at the end of the day. And come back here, you're going to like this. The whole back, that's neat about these Gremlins, it just cuts right off. As you can see, straight down to the bumper. Pretty darn slick. You put a lot of horsepower in these things, no traction, just a fun go-kart, pretty much. Anyway, let's keep on looking while we still have some light. C10 Chev, very nice red color. Now, what I really wanted to show you guys, though, come on back to the bed. We got fender skirts on the truck. You don't see those very often at all. Not to mention the tires are about yay large, yay thick. So there's a little bit of horsepower going through this truck. And as you can see, it's a Chevy big block inside it. So I think it can spin the tires no problem. GTR, one of them GTRs. You know, GT. GTR. A little bit of spice in this sugar and spice. Yes, sir. 2 turbos in the LS. That's a black on black Nova. Yes, sir. That's a mean machine. Thought it was fitting. We'll close up this video right in front of the cutest Bronco in here. We got the meanest Bronco over there. Definitely the cutest Bronco right here. 2 car shows, 1 day. I think we did pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. See you guys.